we're thinking of practical considerations, some of them cultural, group focus, some of them interpersonal, more psychology. Okay. Yes, strivers. They, yes, you said the order matters, high school. And this, it was interesting. He was focusing on high school diploma, work full time, marriage, and children. And you will be doing very well in this country. And he has the statistics and the increase in level to back him up. Strivers know good marriages don't just happen, so they find ways of doing better. So they, so even if you're, you walk left, you'll find, oh, here comes a psychologist talking about techniques or communications, or we know we need to have date nights, just different things that they'll be up there. Okay. Were there anything more before we will go into a little bit of speculation here?
I mean, in regards to like the strivers, or these, are we limiting only to that, or to all of the four types of?
You can do all four,
Right.
whatever, because we're about to, yeah, we're towards the wrap up here. We're heading into wrap up. So,
Right. So
bring it.
all that I was going to say, I just want to repeat again what I had said at the end of the last show. Lead with what you love, right? Never fail to let the person know that they're the most important person to you, right? There are 24 hours in a day. Once an hour telling someone that you love them is not too much.
No, it's not.
It's really not. Like you just, and it doesn't always have to be verbal. We have five senses for a reason, right? And all of those things, we should be giving ourselves entirely to the other. How do we best do that? Sometimes we're tired and we overlook that for the sake of the person who's not tired. Sometimes, we're really awake and they're sleepy. So we overlook that, right? I mean, we're always trying to will the good for that other person. I just don't think that concept of love is indicated enough or expressed enough for young people to understand. Love is so much about, in the modern world, is so much about the ego, how it makes me feel, how it makes me behave, what can be done for me. But that's so much not the way that marriage is created, right? If we believe firmly that marriage is a self-donative gift, that I am giving all of myself to you, that I empty myself of myself so that I can be filled with you, and there's that mutual exchange going on, then I can know that as I am willing the good for my husband, that he too is willing the good for me. So during the course of the day, I know that he's thinking about me. When he comes home, he should be greeted with happiness. Even if the house has been chaos all day long, to make that moment of re-meeting, like I love that image, to go back to Saints Anne and Joachim, to kind of wrap this up, right, in a pretty little bow. That moment at the beautiful gate, right? That first moment when you see one another again after being separated for the day, or for if you had to go off to work or to go on a traveling or something like that. That first moment of coming back together should always be the beautiful gate,
That's right.
right? Lead with what you love.
There's always time to bring in that the necessary difficulties that have to be faced. But in that moment of coming back in
Right.
Together, that's not the time. That's not the
Right.
time.
I mean, picture yourself every single time that he sees you, that you want to look as radiant as you did when he saw you in your bridal garb, right? I mean, every woman, I honestly think that any woman who truly loves her husband, meditating back or reflecting back on the first moment that she caught her husband's eye as she was walking down the aisle, that look that man gave you at that moment is was his heart, right? And you were becoming and lovely and beautiful. So be her, be that woman.
Yes, very true. Very, very true. All right. That's actually a really good place to stop because we're not going to go. We're actually going to start speculating on motivation for the elites, which is because that's the question. Why do they do this? Why do they
Right.
talk left and walk right? Why do they live with such a cognitive dissonance, which makes you crazy? And of course, we know that a high percentage of them are on medication,
Right, yeah.
psychotropic drugs. So there's this public show of celebrate. So what do the elites do? What is this talking left? A public show of celebrating gender equality, gender nonconformity, and the abolition of traditional roles and styles of masculinity and femininity. The expressed preferences of our elites often look different from their revealed preferences, and they talk left but walk right. Elites have done nothing culturally to help those marginalized. It's a dereliction of duty and status, a big reason for high incarceration rates and misery among the lower classes. And to those given more, more is expected. So, my opinion, and we'll start with the most charitable and work outwards. Misplaced compassion. So remember what they thought that a sign of progress is adopting of these things. So that in their mind, society's becoming more just, more loving, more accepting um, with the progression of these sorts of ideas. Of course, true compassion is more difficult. It, we author says it's not a death sentence, but you have to be attentive to where the lacks are and mitigate them accordingly. Um, Mindfully compensate for the lack, yes. Then there's the others, less charitable. They sabotage in competition to their own children. And I think Sarah mentioned that not too long ago. And then ignorance from not seeing objective truths clearly because they don't have a realistic epistemology. They have some sort of Kantian kind of thing, except of course when it comes to their own homes and their own children, and then they get real realistic real quick. But this vagueness, we really can't know, what we know. But
I think George Bush said it best when he coined the phrase, or one of his speechwriters coined the phrase of the low bigotry, um, the soft bigotry of low expectations.
yes,
right? So what they are willing to permit in an underclass, they would never permit in their own children.
Oh, that's
And
right.
that's bigotry. I mean, that's bigotry. That's not love. So it's like I said at the beginning of the show, it's this othering. Well, they can't live any better than that. So we just have to make allowances for their bad behavior, even though they would never make those same allowances for somebody close to them. They would expect their children to maintain a certain decorum or a certain way of behaving, but they will permit the underclass to not behave that way because that just shows that they're the underclass.
That's right. That's right. So regardless of why they do or don't do it, we do not want to do what they say, but actually do what they do, which is an inverted hypocrisy.
Right.
All right. An exhortation. All right. We'll pick up. Okay. All right, friends. We'll pick up with our exhortation in the next episode. Till then, Fides et Ratio.